moving on to the last story of the night. And that is, unfortunately, that we have to talk about this story. Because I don't want to. We did a story on it earlier. I thought we were done. It sounded like, hey, everything's wrapped up in a nice little bow. We're going. The NBA was successful. And that is the Donald Sterling fiasco that's going on right now.
See, I thought I said I refuse to talk about this story, Brian.
Well, yeah, but then you left, and I didn't talk about it, and then you came back. So
and now you're trying to talk about it again.
Well, I was trying to trick you so that you didn't realize that you hadn't already left, but yeah. But we're going to talk about it again. So if you don't know, Donald Sterling, he got caught making some racist remarks to his girlfriend who was illegally recording him, and she leaked those to the press because she was in a lawsuit with his estranged wife who was trying to get back $1.5 million of what they said was embezzled gifts because she wasn't supposed to get all those gifts, but I don't know.
How can you embezzle gifts?
I don't know. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. But I'm going to start us off.
As a giver.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to start it off, though, with a quick timeline because, man, there's a lot of things that have been going on. So started off with April 29th. That's when the tape was released. Donald Sterling admitted that he made those marks. Actually, on the 29th was when NBA Commissioner Adam Silver went ahead and suspended him for life, banned him for life, I should say, and fined him $2.5 million. Also saying that, hey, I'm going to meet with the Board of Governors, which is the owners of the NBA, and we're going to force him out with the franchise. So he said he was going to do that. May 8th, Shelley Sterling, his estranged wife, vowed to fight to keep the team in family hands because it was technically part of a family trust. And so Donald Sterling was not the sole owner of the team. It was really family-owned. So she was saying that, no, you can't just take away our franchise. May 10th, the NBA announced that Richard Parsons was going to be made the CEO of the Los Angeles Clippers because they banned the owner for life. They pretty much got rid of most of the front office. They had to have somebody make it so that this franchise wouldn't just crumble. And might I say, up until this point, the Clippers were still playing. They were in the playoffs. So, I don't know how they were able to do that, but they were still playing. So May 19th rolls around. The NBA files a charge against Sterling to terminate his ownership. So they're finally taking the steps to cancel him out, forcibly remove him from the NBA. And then on May 27th, Sterling and his lawyers release a 26-page document that demands he be allowed to keep his team because it was a lover's tiff, number one, and two, he was recorded illegally. So they're pretty much saying he didn't mean any of these comments. He just said that because he was trying to hurt his girlfriend, who is of mixed black and Hispanic heritage. So that's kind of what he was saying.
But okay, the legal recordings bit. All right, if you want to pull a different suit against it, but this is an private organization's decision. You're arguing something that's applicable in court, U.S. courts, criminal courts. It doesn't matter. The organization can make whatever rules they want, and whether they care how legal the recording is or not.
And as the owner of a franchise, you are the public face of that franchise. And if you are the public face of a franchise, you are a public face of the NBA. You come out, make racial remarks, really stupid racial remarks, and you're degrading the brand that not only is marketed to millions of black people as well as white and Spanish and Asian people.
Millions of people in general.
But I would say maybe, well, how about this? The players that actually play are predominantly black, and you're making racial remarks against the predominant players, the driving force behind your brand, which, again, I called it stupid. That's probably a very kind word for what he said. That it should be meaner, but we're a family show. No, we're not a family show. We're not really a family show. But, So then that was May 27th. So May 29th, Steve Ballmer, ex-CEO of Microsoft, offers $2 billion to buy the team. Now, when I heard that first number, the record for a franchise sold was like $555 million for the NBA. Now, granted, not many franchises change hands in the NBA. A lot of these owners are legacy owners. They own them for a lot longer. I've seen more sports like football for some reason. You see the owners change hands a little bit more. But that was a record earlier in the year for the Milwaukee Bucks. and he offered $2 billion. So he probably tripled what he should have paid for that team. But he offered it anyway, kind of trying to swoop in, save the day, gets the Sterlings out.
I don't even know
And,
how well that saved. I guess it saves the day because he's no longer involved. But it would seem like he made out really well, in that arrangement if he gets significantly more than the team should be worth.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much paying this guy to $2 billion to F off. So, I mean, I didn't mind it too much. Like I said, he way overpaid for that franchise, but, what can you do? But that's not the end of it. I wish I could say, hey, that's it. It was over. Why are we talking about it right now? It makes no sense. We're done. Hey, let's all pack up $2 billion and we're on our way. Everybody's hunky-dory. So, on May 30th, the NBA cancels its June 3rd meeting, which was going to be to meet about canceling his ownership, revoking his ownership, because they said, oh, well, it's pending a sale. We don't want to mess with that. We want to let everything move smoothly. Let the wheels move. Well, on the same day, Sterling filed a $1 billion antitrust lawsuit against the NBA. So...
What?
Yes.
Yes.
He alleged that they were colluding to push him out, and that they cannot do that because they would ruin competition in the antitrust form. So, yeah, interesting.
I guess he's got better lawyers than I am, but it just seems to me like, this you're suing a private organization that you're part of. I guess I don't know exactly how that legal entity works.
Kind of suing himself, I think. So,
You're saying that a private organization cannot regulate itself. Like, I understand antitrust, competition, and everything, but you're talking about a different kind of competition there when you're talking about. I thought,
Yeah, they're supposed to compete against each other, but it's
you're
really
kind of within the same organization already.
Yeah. So again,
you're more of an antitrust if you were a different league.
Like I said, this story is crazy. That's why I had to write it all down in a crazy timeline. So that was May 29th. Now we had a little bit of a lull until about June 9th, where Donald Sterling suddenly revokes the family trust. So he dissolved the family trust, meaning anything that was his going into the family trust was now coming back to him. He kind of wanted to cut out Shelley and his kids and stuff. He wanted to keep his team. He didn't want her to sell it. So when he dissolved the family trust, he went from being a majority, like a shareholder with everybody, to being the only shareholder. So yeah, that was interesting. I don't know quite how the legal moves work for that, but apparently it does in California.
That doesn't seem like it would help his situation, though, at all for keeping.
Well, it makes it so Shelley Sterling, who was negotiating the sale with Steve Ballmer for the $2 billion, it makes it so she cannot negotiate for the team she has no part in.
Okay, so it's all about him trying to just keep the grip on the team, but it seems like it's going to place him even worse in the boat of the league just kicking him out. Yes. But I guess he thinks that his lawsuit's going to save him?
Yeah, maybe. Well, let's continue. So then on June 11th, a probate court schedules a July 7th trial to determine if Shelley was within her rights to negotiate the sale. So sounds like lawsuit number 2 with him against Shelley Sterling, saying that she had no legal rights to negotiate the sale. So that was a fun one. And then July 7th rolls around, and Sterling testifies. He said he'll sue the NBA till he dies before he leaves the team. Shelley Sterling also produced 2 doctors in this hearing who said that Donald Sterling was mentally unfit. They said he was in advanced stages of Alzheimer's, and he was mentally unfit to run this franchise, and he was mentally unfit to dissolve the trust. He's mentally unfit. He can't do any of the things he's been doing. So that was pretty interesting. And she not only had 1, but she had 2 doctors. And I believe he also had a doctor come in and say he was fit and sound, so who knows? That kind of sounds more like a posturing move by her than reality, but I do believe he's probably
sounds like if you have enough money, you can get a doctor to say anything on either side.
Yeah.
Or you can at least find a doctor that will come up with the diagnosis if you have enough time.
Yeah. So that case has been going on a little bit longer. And then on July 22nd, just a couple days ago, Sterling filed another lawsuit against the NBA, Shelley Sterling and Adam Silver, seeking damages of up to $1 million. I believe for defamation of character. I'm not 100% correct on that one, but he's seeking damages of up to $1 billion. Yeah.
What is with these billion-dollar lawsuits that he thinks he can get away with?
Well, it's really Shelley Sterling's fault for announcing, "Oh, I sold it for $2 billion." So he's like, how do I get that $2 billion and keep my team? Sue everybody.
But I thought they didn't sell it. They were negotiating it. It didn't actually happen.
They were negotiating it, and it hadn't been sold yet, but the NBA was trying to push that through. So he's just trying to stop everybody from doing that. And then in the same, and then the continuation of the July 7th hearing, Steve Ballmer, who is the CEO instated by the NBA, also testified that Doc Rivers, the really good head coach, championship-winning head coach of the LA Clippers, said if Donald Sterling is still the owner of the team by the beginning of the season, I will not be coaching here. And that has been pretty much echoed by all the players so far on that team. You know, I mean, like you have Chris Paul, Blake Griffin. I mean, I think there's one white guy on the team. And I believe he's one of the most adamant people about not wanting to play for this guy. So you're pretty much going to see if Donald Sterling tries to hold that death grip on his team, he'll lose everything. But let's in review. Let's talk about his lawsuit. So he has lawsuit 1, antitrust against NBA. Lawsuit 2 is against Shelley Sterling for sale of the team. Lawsuit 3 is seeking damages from NBA, Shelley Sterling, and Adam Silver. Yeah.
Okay. Fun times.
Fun times, unless you're like a Clippers fan. But I really want to say this kind of as a closing argument. See, talking about the court cases, closing argument. I applaud you, Doc Rivers. Oh, damn it, I got another boo. but I applaud you, Doc Rivers, for standing up for what you believe in. And, you know, what can I say? Give him a clap. You have that one, right? Just click on the boo. And you deserve it. And also to the whole Clippers team, because what they're going through is rough. It's rocky. You pretty much have infighting between an estranged wife and a husband. I know that's a lot about what's going on, and it all led to these racist remarks being leaked. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's not the greatest thing. It's better to, you know, have those racists out there in the open and get rid of them than have them hiding behind closed doors. So it is a good thing. But I applaud Doc Rivers, and I stand behind any decision he might make, because you know what? If I was playing, let's say I was 6'3", and, you know, like 210 pounds, and just like the biggest physical athlete ever, I'm everything except for that last thing I said. Get it? All right, never mind. But where's the boo? You're supposed to boo me again when I fail on those jokes.
Nah, you're getting.
But yeah, so let's say I was playing on the Clippers, I would not want to play for them either. I wouldn't have even wanted to go through the playoffs last year while all that was going on. But Doc Rivers, being the upstanding guy he was, said, let's finish what we started here. We're not doing this for Sterling. We're not doing this for anybody else except for us right here. So I do got to say, Doc Rivers, you are an inspiration to a lot of people, because you're going to be walking away from $5 to $7 million a year. That's nothing to sneeze at. And all the other players, if they walk away with you, are going to be walking away from deals worth that or more. So, you know, it's a really hard time for them.
I think that there's a few teams out there that are still going to be looking for some new coaches and players.
But if you leave, like, right during the middle of the season, I don't believe they'll be able to play that season
or I know.
Coach that season. So, and they're under contract, so if they don't do it, I don't believe they'll be able to sign with another team until the whole issue is resolved. So
yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we get him out of here. And
it seems
it really sounds like instead of just taking the $2 billion, he's just trying to sue for the $2 billion. So
yeah, it seems too, though, at this point, there's not a whole lot of chance of him keeping the team anyway. He's just
zero chance.
Because you have so many sides. You have the family trying to sell the team, which would get rid of it, which he's trying to block. I guess he has a lawsuit for every instance except for one. But family trying to block, the league kicking him out, trying to kick him out, which he has another lawsuit for, right? And the players and coach deciding, hey, we're just going to not play. So no matter what happens, you're not having a team this year.
Yeah. I mean, and we didn't mention the fans who hopefully will take the lead off of the players, even if they hire scab players to play on this team, will take the lead and not show up. So they won't put their money in his pockets.
It doesn't seem like
So
there's much to gain by hanging on at this point because it
no.
looks like the last kind of ditch thing is if the players and coaches decide we're not going to participate anymore, can't sue them to force them to do it. If they want to quit, they're going to quit. Like contract or not, that just means they can't go somewhere else, right? So
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like I said, I applaud those guys, and I stand behind you guys. You will always have words from my face getting your back, even though, like 20 people listen to us a week. Don't worry about that. We got your back here at Words from My Face. Stand up to racism. It's an ugly thing. We don't need it here in America. Sports is one of the one things that really is able to break down those barriers of racism. It was done with Jackie Robinson in the 40s. It's been done ever since then. It's really one of the best things about all these things. What did you laughing at?
Brian clearly tried to think of the starting points in all the other sports, and he was like, "Nope, can't do it." Just Jackie Robinson. That's what we're.
It was Jackie Robinson, and then I was going to mention something about the Redskins and George Preston Marshall being the last to, but that's my franchise. I don't want to hate on him too much.